Have you ever wondered how Philippine literature started? Our ancestors didn't have any modern writing tools like pens and papers or gadgets to be able to write their thoughts. How did we manage to have our own literature then? Hi students! Welcome to my English class. Today, we will talk about Philippine literature. Most literary works during the pre-colonial period were passed down by word of mouth. This form of transmission is called the oral tradition. But in some cases, our ancestors were able to make use of a writing system to pen down some works of literature. The writing system used by Filipinos during the pre-colonial period is called baybayin. This was derived from Kavi, a Javanese script. The ancient Tagalog script had 17 basic syllables composed of 3 vowels and 14 consonants. Our literature reflects the community. The subject matter deals with common experiences of the people such as food gathering, work in the home, field, forest or sea, and caring for children. There are different types of literature during the pre-colonial period. These are folk tales, epics, myths, legends, folk songs, proverbs, and riddles. Folk tales. Folk tales are inspiring stories of human travails and triumphs depicting all kinds of emotion. These tales are written to entertain and teach morals. Are you familiar with the story The Monkey and the Turtle? It is a famous Philippine folktale that tells the story of how poor turtle was treated by a selfish monkey.
I swear you will have to pay for this.
How about the story of Mangita and Larina? This story
Larina,
talks about 2
I am
sisters
sorry,
from
but
Philippine folklore.
What I earn is not enough to feed the 2 of us. Would you help me in selling the fish from tomorrow? What? What did you just say? I'm asking you to help me sell the fish so that we can make enough money for the 2 of us. Please, sister. You must be out of your mind. I am a future queen.
Philippine folktales don't just tell stories. They also teach moral lessons which are essential to use in our daily lives. The story of the monkey and the turtle teaches us to be kind to our friends, while the story of Larina and Mangita teaches us to love and to care for one another. Moving on to the next type of literature, epic. An epic is a long, poetic form that speaks about the bravery of heroes with admirable traits embodying their adventures and success in war. An Ilocano epic, Biyag ni Lamang, is a famous Philippine epic that tells of the bravery of the hero named Lamang. Another example is the Philippine epic story of warrior Princess Urduha of Pangasinan. The plot of Philippine epic stories revolves around supernatural events and heroic deeds. Folk songs. Folk songs are poetic in nature that illustrate the historical and cultural background of a certain group. Paru-Parong Bukid is an example of a Philippine folk song. Paru-Parong Bukid is a traditional Filipino folk song which originated from Mariposa Bella. A Filipino song in Spanish originated in 1980s. Another example of Filipino folk song is the famous Magtanim Ay Di Biro, which talks about the hardship of farmers. Moving on, myths. Myths are stories that attempt to explain how the world was created or why the world is the way it is. Myths are stories that have gods, goddesses, and other fantastical creatures as characters. There are many versions of the story of creation of the world. one of which is the creation story of the Tagalogs. Another one is the myth of Mariang Sinukuan. Mariang Sinukuan is the Diwata or mountain goddess associated with Mount Arayat in Pampanga. Mariang Sinukuan is a prominent example of the mountain goddess motif in the Philippine mythology. Other prominent examples are Mariang Makiling of Los Baños and Maria Cacao of Cebu. Now, what is the purpose of myths? Myths were originally created as entertaining stories with serious purpose of either explaining the nature of the universe or instructing the members of the society to function successfully in a culture. Myths also explain the origin of a country's own people and enhance their nationalistic spirit. Myths also help explain the continued existence of good and evil. Myths also teach its listeners acceptable moral behaviors and values reflected from that culture. Proceeding to the next type of Philippine literature, legends. Legends are accounts regarded as historical but not verifiable. What are the characteristics of legends? Legends are tales about a specific person or place. It makes use of mythical creatures. It shows the origin of things particular to a culture. Do you know the reasons why pineapples look like that? Based on the story, there was a little girl named Pina who was very lazy. Whenever her mother asked for help, she would always find an excuse by saying she couldn't find the object needed to complete the task. If her mother asked her to sweep the house, she would say that she couldn't find a broom, even if it was right in front of her. Her mother always ended up doing all the work by herself. One day, Pina's mother ran out of patience and wished that Pina would grow 1,000 eyes all over her head so that she could see whatever her mom would ask her for. Pina suddenly disappeared and became a yellow fruit with many eyes, which came to be known as the pineapple. That's how the pineapple came to be, according to folklore. It was named after a very spoiled child who was cursed to have 1,000 eyes. Other examples are the legend of the watermelon, makopa, guava, mango, and more. There is even a legend about why fish have scales. Philippine literature is a reflection of humanity and a way for us to better understand the world we live in. In the next video, we will be focusing on the elements specific to Philippine literature. Before I end the lesson, I would like to ask you this question. Do you think that learning about Philippine literature from the past are still relevant to your life as a modern Filipino or Filipina? Why or why not? That concludes our lesson for today. This has been Teacher Lay for ClickGen.